Okay, welcome to Fahrenheit Performance Podcast, episode number 80. This one is a long time coming, actually. Natalie Dau, RockStarArms herself. We've been trying to organize this for about a year, I think, before even the first Project 1000.
I know. I feel like I ghosted you.
It's a bit. When we first connected and we agreed to do it, and then I don't like pestering people, right? We fixed the time that didn't happen, and then it's like, but then you're so busy that you can't some people need to be pestered, right? So then I reached out recently when Arthur came on, and we're here.
Yes, but finally, good things worth waiting for.
I know. Natalie, so who are you, and what do you do?
Yeah.
Go on to the point.
Yeah, what do I do?
Do you actually have a job?
Yeah, I do. But it's very mixed. So I originally came to Singapore in the corporate world 21 years ago, and left all of that behind about 14 years ago to do my own thing. And that's evolved through time. So it's always been around content, even back then, around health and wellness. But today, my day job is a mix between, I guess, corporate and motivational speaking. I consult as a high performance coach into corporates. I'm involved in some Gen AI programs around wellness, working with some consulting firms. And then
you run a little bit.
Then I run a little bit. Then I'm a mum. Do some social media stuff. Yeah. So that's sort of. My day is very varied.
Yeah. Ages ago, I used to see, so I'm friends with Serena Teo, right? And she always posts on Instagram, I ran with RockStarArms, this RockStar. And I never really paid attention because I got RockStarArms, you're a personal trainer or something, nothing to do with endurance sports. So then I never really paid attention. And then I found out that you were actually a runner. And then before you were about to run from Thailand to Singapore, right? So now you've done that. Guinness World Record Holder for what's the record actually?
The record is fastest time on foot for length of Malaysia Peninsula.
The not
Sideways, downwards. Yeah, the long way.
And that is 1,000 kilometers in 12 days.
So that record is 8 days.
Okay.
Because we did Thailand for 3 days
wow.
first. So I was going in with 240 Ks or something under my belt, and then Singapore the last day.
Yep.
We finished, but we actually ran 1,040 because we had so many people meeting us. We just did an extra 40 on the last day.
Because you could.
Why not?
Run the marathon. Okay. So you've been in Asia for longer than I had, 21 years, right? What brought you here in the first place? Is it because your daughter has lived in 21 years?
No, she's only 16. So I came up here single, actually.
What?
Yeah. For 2 years with the job, I was working for a firm called Gartner, which is an analyst firm. I was running their media business.
Okay.
And I thought, why not come for 2 years?
Yeah, that's a typical.
I know. And within 6 months, I had PR because it was much easier to obtain back then. And I just fell in love with it. And didn't leave.
You're still here.
Yeah, still here. Can't get rid of me. No plans.
So were you running back then? What was your sport? Were you always in?
I was running back then, but just casually, just for something to do. I'd actually run to and from work most days. But the running scene back then, I can't even remember any races really happening.
And the whole Marina Bay area, didn't it?
No, it didn't. It didn't at all. And I was living sort of near Jalan Besar. So I'd run into Suntec and back. But yeah, there wasn't really a running scene. So I just did it for fitness. I was a basketballer growing up.
Okay.
That was my sport. But running was something I did when I started working because it was easy and I could do it before work.
Yeah, it's like you got the intensity in a short amount of time.
Exactly. And then maybe go to the gym, but that was it. I was not competitive, never thought about being competitive.
So then one fine day you signed up for an ultra marathon, right?
Yeah.
I heard that you had to do another marathon.
I had it. So 2019 that was. So I went
relatively recently.
Yeah. So I was doing Spartan before that, went to a couple of world champs, and then I'm like bored of that. I did a bit of CrossFit. then I'm like, oh, I'll go and do track. I've never done track, so I did some masters track.
Okay.
And I'm like, what's the opposite of, running 800 meters? Maybe I'll run 100 kilometers. I've skipped the marathon part and went straight to that.
Marathon.
Yeah, so I gave myself about 10 months to train for that.
And was that in Singapore?
It was.
So what was that? Just round and round and round?
It was called the SG Ultra, and it went from sort of Marina Bay up to Punggol and back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The long way.
Yeah, past all those lampposts on Changi Road.
Okay. But you won.
I did win. Yes, I did. I had no idea of what I was doing. But at that stage I was sponsored by Reebok, so I had on these terrible Reebok shoes. And I didn't know what I was eating. I didn't know how to fuel. I just knew that I needed to have a bit of Coke and a sandwich along the way, maybe.
Yeah.
And my headphones broke within the first 5Ks.
Headphones in your walkman.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, okay, well, just head down. Let's get into it. Saw my husband about the halfway mark, and he's like, you're doing really well. I think you're like in third overall or something.
Okay.
And then did the turnaround and passed one guy, and then saw the guy that was winning, and I passed him as I headed into East Coast. I'm like, holy crap.
Oh, so you won overall?
I won overall, yeah. And I'm like, just keep running. Just keep running. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. So that was my foray into ultra marathon.
Oh, that's fantastic. I thought you were the first female.
Yeah.
For first overall, that's even better.
Yeah, so it was crazy.
So then you thought, okay, this is it. If I could, why waste my talent if I can be here?
Maybe I'm okay at this stuff.
Did you sign up for the legs race before your legs were not sore anymore?
The next race I did was actually in Malaysia, in Kuching, and that was a week before we got locked down for COVID.
So first week in March.
Yes, correct. So I managed to get one more in before the lockdown of COVID. Yeah.
So was COVID good for you in terms of training? You just out running all the time?
Yeah, I was running to Changi Airport twice a week, pretty much. I think I was running too much. I was clocking 150, 160 a week consistently.
Professional running.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on where you live, right? So if you live in the city in Changi Airport.
Yeah, it was a 50K, 56K turnaround a few times a week. So it was too much.
Yeah.
But
any injuries, any overuse injuries?
a little bit of a knee niggle. But that was about it. But I do think it was probably, and I think I was running in Under Armour shoes back then, so it didn't help.
Okay. So what is it about the ultra distance or the long distance that appeals to you so much? Or the training, the actual races, like the Last Dance, right? It's the 100 hours or 200 hours of training for the race that really grinds you, right?
Yeah, and I used to think people that trained for marathons were idiots. It's like, who would do that? And now I'm the idiot. Yeah, I think I like the challenge mentally. I mean, physically, I like to see how far I can push my body.
Yeah.
But it is really, I think 90% mental when you're in those long races. And as I've got older, obviously I can't go as fast. So my 10K time is nowhere near as fast as I could do. My marathons have got faster, to be fair.
So, but the older you get, the better you work.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I just think, age isn't an excuse. I'm 53 now, and you can still go and achieve some amazing things.
Yeah.
But it's finding the thing that suits your body and suits what your goals are.
It's funny that the ultra long distance events, there's a tipping point between the male and the female and the age, right? And the really long events, actually, the women are the most dominant in those events. And they're still trying to work out what exactly it is between the men and the women that makes the difference.
I think because we put up with childbirth. Maybe. I think it is pain threshold. They do say, yeah.
Okay. Anything about do you find running your sort of happy place, or is it solitude, or is it?
All of the above. Yeah. I feel better once I've been for a run. I think it's slightly addictive. And I'm generally a lone runner. I like to run alone, unless I'm running with Serena or something like that. But generally I like the time by myself.
For 50 kilometers, it's going to take you, 6 hours or something?
Yeah, 5 hours. Yeah. I know there's a lot going on in the mind.
I'm going out for a run, and then lunchtime you come back.
And the thing is, I'll have some great ideas when I'm running, but I'm too old now, forget them by the time I get home.
So how much are you training these days? Are you like, I follow you on Instagram, and like 6 in the morning you said, oh, I done my first run of the day, and then by 11 o'clock again you're saying another run of the day. Are you?
I'm trying to, so it depends. I'm running maybe 100 to 110 a week. The double run days are because I run in the morning, come home, put my daughter on the school bus, get her breakfast, and then maybe do a quick little run to make up some Ks. So the mother's guilt.
She's like 16.
16, yes.
I'm sure she did go to the school bus.
I know. I've only got 2 years left. So that's why. But generally sitting around, I find 100 is a nice amount for me.
Does your husband and daughter run as well?
So Matt, is a runner, but he's like a 12K. That's sort of his comfort spot. He does jiu-jitsu and paddle and things, and Lily's a basketballer. Okay. But I do make her run with me, but sort of 5 to 10Ks is her sweet spot.
Hold on.
Yeah. So that's sort of my second run, and school holidays start at the end of this week, so she'll be running a lot more. Yeah.
Well, it's good for basketball.
It is.
Like, you got 40 minutes into a basketball game and you're tired. If you've done the running, it'll be pretty good for that.
It is, and she knows now not to complain, so it's okay.
So, just curious, you're sponsored by ASICS, correct?
Yes.
So, you run so much. How many pairs of shoes do you have in your rotation?
In my rotation.
You can believe the total number of it.
Yeah.
But
in my rotation, I wear Super Blast is my shoe of choice.
Which is this mega cushioning one.
Yeah, which is sort of, it's not as cushioned as a Nova Blast. It's a bit more performance based. And that's what I ran the Project 1000 in. So that is my everyday go-to.
Yeah.
And I probably have 10 pairs of those in rotation. And then I'll throw in every now and then a carbon shoe if I'm going a bit shorter and want to go a bit faster. So maybe 15 at any given time.
So just then on the YouTube survey, Quantitative Chinese New Year. Something like that. So, what motivated you to run from Thailand to Singapore?
Yeah, so I got sick of racing, to be honest. I don't train to race.
Getting bored of winning all that.
Yeah. And racing doesn't drive me to train. I train because I like training.
Okay.
And I wanted to do something that was a bit different. And I sort of thought, Thailand to Singapore, that would be interesting, and 1,000 Ks and maybe raise some money. I had no idea of what I was doing. I just sort of thought I'd wing it.
Okay. So it's 1,000 kilometers. When did you have an idea of what the shit that you got yourself into?
Oh, not until we started. Not until we were actually in it, probably. I think I still don't. I look back and I'm like, we didn't even take a massage gun with us. It was like amateur hour.
You probably had a whole bunch of stuff you didn't use.
Yes, yeah. And then, just had no idea, no plan. I was just going to run and, muscle my way through it. I had, luckily Arthur was there to think about fueling and plan that. But I'd booked accommodation along the way and just thought, 2 marathons a day, that's doable. I could get my head around that.
Just up a chain and back twice.
Yeah. It was like, that could do that. And off I went, but literally had no idea.
So I've had bikepackers on, right? And I've had Arthur on, right? And both of those things have got quite similar to what you're doing. So ran the bikepacker Ken one. He said after the first day of riding here to China, all his plans went out the window because he couldn't make his first accommodation, and then everything's which is shit, right? Do you have something similar to this?
The first day my hip went badly, so I didn't even make the distance on the first day.
Right.
We had to pull up.
Still in Thailand?
Yeah, still in Thailand. Had to pull up about 3 Ks earlier, and we were visiting quite a lot of schools in Thailand as well. So the first marathon we finished really fast. Serena was running with me. We went too fast, and then stopped at a school for like an hour and a half. Then off we went again. So it was those long breaks that weren't great.
Yeah.
And then Arthur got on the phone to Jenny. She's like, you need to walk run. That has to be the strategy to get the hip in order. So it was sort of 15 minutes walk, 2 minutes run, and try and extend it at certain times. And that's what we stuck to, and it worked.
So for the whole time?
Yeah, pretty much.
So when I was talking to Arthur, he was saying, well, basically his job is to open the doors so you have nothing to stop you, right?
My job's to run.
Yeah, and you're just moving forward. Right?
Yeah.
Just, how many hours a day were you running?
So it was about 12 hours every day. And then sometimes the accommodation, because we're in the middle of nowhere, could be an hour and a half away. So we'd have to get in the van, drive an hour and a half, shower, try and eat, get a bit of sleep, get up, take my toes, do all that, and then get in the van for another hour and a half back to the start point.
To this morning.
Yeah.
So it's very similar to bikepacking, because some people in bikepacking will think, if I want to ride for Ultrarunning, I have to ride every single kilometer, and if I stop here, I've got to go to the next day, or go back to that start point, right?
Yes.
So it's similar.
And Guinness was so strict.
Yes.
So
yes, true.
Yeah, so we had to, photograph, be at the exact point when we said, have signatures of everyone. So it was a full on,
So
admin nightmare.
So after your hip went out, how long did it take you to get back in the group?
Well, I took an anti-inflam, and then that was it. And it was okay. Like by the end of the second day, I was feeling okay. Mm-hmm. But then the end of the third day, I'm at the doctor's with a UTI.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I did come prepared. I did have antibiotics and different things, but they just weren't working. So
that would have made every step painful, basically.
Yeah,
right?
and I peed blood for 7 days.
Ugh.
Yeah, which I didn't tell the crew at the time.
Nice. So what other, I'm sure your feet would have been up.
Feet, I think they were manageable.
Okay.
They were okay. It was the UTI that was the bad thing, and chafing was okay. I managed all of that. It was sort of when I hit Singapore and I was carrying 5 kilos of fluid on my legs and realised I had rhabdo, which I didn't even know what rhabdo was.
What is rhabdo for you?
Yeah, so it's basically when your body starts eating your muscles.
Oh, nice.
Right? Yeah.
Sounds charming.
Yeah, so your kidney can't process anything, right? So as soon as I finished the Project 1000, the next day I was in at the kidney specialist, and obviously levels were through the roof, and probably were through the roof a lot higher during the race. I had a friend come up and he said, Nat, I tried to tell everyone that you had rhabdo, but everyone was just holding on for dear life at that point, and no one listened to me, so I just gave up.
So you get to Singapore. I remember there was a big party at the Western.
Yes, lots of people running, hundreds and hundreds of people running with us on the last day. It was insane. Yeah, went through my daughter's school, UWC, both of those, and there was, 1,000 kids out at each school cheering. It was so overwhelming. Yeah.
So, but actually, when you ran through Malaysia, there must have been
hardly anyone.
like crickets and tumbleweeds.
It was Arthur and I. That was it, pretty much. Yeah.
The cheerleader.
Yes, that was it. Knowing when not to talk to me a lot of the time.
So the UTI, I guess the UTI was the biggest injury, so to speak.
Because at the end of the day, I would clock somewhere between 4 to 5 Ks more than Arthur because of running into the bush, up to 50 times a day.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So knowing that, did you change your nutrition plan, or do you have electrolytes? Or
Yeah, it was electrolytes, salt tablets, all of that. And I was getting enough of that. But there was nothing. Just
wearing your body into
suck
the
it up.
ground, right?
Yes.
Well, what was your nutrition plan did you plan carb intake or your protein intake, or were you just eating whatever you prefer?
Yeah, we tried to get minimum carbs every hour, and I didn't take any gels. I ate real food the whole way. So the carbs would start out with bread or rice or whatever it may be, keeping it really simple, so I didn't get any GI distress. And then would turn to chocolate and whatever it may be, and then at the end of the day, when it was so hot, it would just be Coke or carbs in sugar liquid form.
Yeah.
And then I'd eat at the end of the day. I was hungry by that night, so I would be scoffing down a big bowl of pasta or something. So that was okay.
It's like that Mike Carson saying, like, all the plans. You had all the plans in the world until you get punched in the face.
Yes.
Everything goes out with
Just
your
hold on for dear life. Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Coke, we'd try and hold out as long as we could until we started opening the Coke.
Yeah. So what's going through your mind when you're in Kulai, Malaysia? There's no one around. It's 11 o'clock at night and you're running. Are you just...
Nothing.
Nothing? Yeah.
Nothing. I think I get into flow very fast.
Okay.
So I'm sadly not getting smarter or solving world problems.
So you weren't listening to educational podcasts?
No music, no.
Imagine how smarter you...
I know. But yeah, absolutely nothing really. I'm just very present, 100% in the moment. So that's why I find music distracting.
So you didn't have anything in your ears? You didn't have... Arthur didn't have a Bluetooth speaker on the front of his...
No. He tried that once and I told him to turn it off. So yeah, absolutely nothing.
Okay. And so leading up to this, how do you prepare for running 1,000 kilometers?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a bit like you never run 42 when you're running a marathon, right?
But you're not even running 800, 1,000.
The longest race I'd done was 200.
Okay. And
so that was all right. Okay. So I knew it was sort of like 28 hours. So I knew I could run 200 kilometers in the back of my head and it'd be okay.
There's only 5 of those.
Yeah. It's so breaking it down. And then I'd done 100K or 110K race a month before or 6 weeks before. And so that was my peak. And I didn't really taper going in. My coach at the time was like, no, I think we'll just keep you flowing in. We'll cut a little bit, but I didn't taper, which was very different to my next one. Okay. So there was lessons learned around that. Yeah.
Okay. So Ben, what is the first thing that you did after you finished? Once you got to Singapore, you're in your own bed. Did you have a craving for anything in particular, or you didn't want to see?
Not chocolate. Yeah, my local cafe, eggs and toast and a coffee. Yeah. That's what I wanted.
Was that the mega that's keeping you going?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. It was just like I'm a really plain eater, and that was it.
Okay. And when was that? That was like early last year.
We finished June on Global Running Day last year.
Awesome.
So yeah, June 5th or 4th or something. Okay. Yeah.
And then how much rest did you have?
Not much.
So how long did it take you to recover?
No, a week, if that.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't long at all.
What were you doing to recover while you were doing that race? Like at the end of the night, did you have some recovery boots put on?
I was too tired to put on the recovery boots. It was like, I'm going to get 3 hours sleep, so I'm not wasting 20 minutes putting on recovery boots.
You just sleep on yourself.
It was too hard. A cold shower, because where we stayed, most of the places didn't have hot water. So it was like literally have a shower, lie on top of the bed and just try and get a couple of hours.
And it was just him to be a light out.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Arthur will be shaking you in the morning to wake you up.
I'd get myself up okay, tape my toes, get ready, and then because...
So you take your toes for blisters or for
blisters?
Falling off?
Both really, yeah. And then Arthur and I, towards the end, we were super tired. So we would sort of have an hour of running in those early hours, and we might take a 10-minute nap break. Okay. So we would both be asleep within 5 seconds. Yeah, in the back of the van. 10 minutes, they'd wake us up and off we'd go and start running again. Yeah. So those mini naps really helped.
Yeah. I heard that's a strategy for races across America, the bike race.
Okay.
Is that especially the relay teams, they're just mini napping the whole time. They don't actually sleep. They go on 15-minute blocks.
Yeah, it helps.
Keep going. Okay, so then you finish June last year, and for some reason you're back in the Philippines recently doing it again, right? It was another 1,000 kilometers?
Another 1,000.
So what possessed you to redo it all over again?
Yeah, one of the people Joan, who was on the original trip, was like, yeah, let's do the Philippines. I can sort everything for you and we'll make it happen. And I'm like, Okay. And
You've been typecast into this 1,000.
I know.
You're the 1,000 world runner. Yeah, go.
Yeah, go and do that. And then, and the Philippines, I think, has a special place in my heart. You know, we live in Singapore. Most of us have Filipino females in our life who live with us. So I thought it would be great to be able to tell the stories of the women that leave there and go and see their families along the way. And not think about breaking a record this time, but have a different approach, but still do the 1,000, do the 12 days, so in exactly the same format.
So you did the same distance in the same time.
Correct,
so
yes.
You didn't take it easy and stay in the 5-star hotels along the way.
No, it was still exactly. So this time I actually front loaded. Some days we were sort of doing 92, 93 because as we got closer to Manila, I wanted to be able to do only 50 on the last day, and we did sort of 68 the second last day. So it was suck it up, you know, at the beginning, which was not fun.
Well, you got the energy or energy.
Yeah, I was going in injured though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then that went okay? You're happy with the result of that?
Yes, yeah. So it was, I mean, as I said, I had plantar fasciitis for 2 months leading up badly. I'd only run, my long run was 20 Ks for the last 2 months. That was it. Wow. So those first 3 days, I ran myself into fitness, really. I think that was it. And the team did a really good job of managing my injury and we got through it.
What did you do differently the second time around?
15-2 right from the start. Yeah, we did the run walk strategy, and I actually got a lot faster as we got on. So the first 3-4 days, and then we were finishing before lunch. We were done, and it was just a very different experience, I think.
Did you change your nutrition or did you eat?
No, it kept exactly the same nutrition. Okay. That worked for me. There was a bit more Jollibee consumed this time because they sponsored us. Wow. So part of the thing was we would stop in a lot of children's charities and at schools this time, a lot more charity work, and Jollibee partnered with us to feed children along the way. So kids that had never been able to afford Jollibee, we were feeding and holding parties for. So the crew ate a lot of fried chicken.
But Jollibee has like pastas and stuff as well.
Oh, the spaghetti was a winner for me.
So I guess why you say is, why are you doing all this? Is it for charity? Is it for charity?
This was, this time around, I think the first one was quite insular in that it was like, I want to prove to myself that I can do this. I want to prove to women that they can go and do crazy stuff. I feel like some of the stuff that we see out there's quite bro-ish, especially around all these ultra runs. So I wanted to do it as a woman, and I wanted to prove that people can do stuff at any age. Yeah. So that was my driving force for the first one. The second one was, and I felt a lot more pressure in the second one because people are like, oh, you've done it once. It's easy. You can go and do it. And it's not.
That's what they say, right? If you're the champion and you're going back, like you win the US Open and you're going back as the reigning champion. Yeah. It's much harder because no one thinks you could do it the first time you do it. Correct.
So much harder, and we had more elevation and it was hotter and there was different challenges. But this time I think there was a lightness around it because the interaction with the community along the way, people waiting on the side of the road at 4 a.m. to see us. Every single person in the crew ran at least 10 Ks a day with me. So it wasn't an Arthur and I solo thing. It was like a real team effort, and the energy was so much better. And the Filipino people were just phenomenal.
Just very friendly. Oh, and then most people speak English.
Thankful, everyone just kept thanking me when actually it was their hospitality was phenomenal.
Yeah. Okay. Just talk about women in sport, right? You just touched on that. Do you think what you're doing, are you trying to like increase participation, or do you just want more broader knowledge that these things are possible, or are you trying to empower people? What's sort of
I'm just trying to empower people to move. Yeah. So I think, from kids upwards. So, when the kids are telling me that, oh my gosh, I might be able to do that one day. There was one girl along the way that we stopped at who was going to the Philippines National Championships, who was taping her feet because she couldn't afford shoes, right? So we obviously, sorted that out. But just to show kids that, sport, and it doesn't have to be running, but movement can help them out of a situation, can empower them to feel better about themselves.
Because you didn't actually start running into your real running to your
30s, 40s, exactly.
So if there's a 30-year-old woman listening to this right now and they've never run before, you didn't start for like 10 years after that.
Exactly right. So it's never too late.
Exactly right. If you can do it, anybody can do it, right? So, and what, like you're saying, your Project 1000, you didn't really have a plan. You just want to keep moving. Right?
Yes, and moving forward, it was like one step. I guess kept saying to the crew, even if we have to walk, we will get through it. I don't care if I need to walk overnight, but it's just, I would just turn it around quickly and off I go. And it's like, you guys catch up to me because I just need to keep moving forward.
Did you ever cross your mind to quit?
Never.
Or to
it's not on the agenda.
take a rest early or
No, it's sort of the last one. Esther and the crew said to me, Nat, you can quit at any time, right? I'm like, it's not on the tick the box thing. Like that doesn't come into my mind. If I thought I could quit, I wouldn't do it. And I wouldn't ask all of you to come along if I ever thought that was an option.
really all eternal falling off the blisters on your feet.
Doesn't matter.
It's hoping.
Yeah. So we're going to finish this damn thing. Enjoy it, everyone.
Yeah, battery break. Yeah.
Okay, so now, more recently, okay, so we were supposed to do this last week or the week before, but then you said, I'm just going to do this 100K run
Back in the Philippines.
back in the Philippines. So you're now known as the ultra lady, right?
Yes.
People didn't call you to do any sort of...
The Forrest Gump of Asia.
So what was it? About 115?
116 Ks from Clark to Manila.
Was it the official race or was it you?
It was 40 of us that were invited to do it, and it was for a charity to build spaces for children to be able to move in the Philippines, because especially in Manila, there's not many parks or anything. And a lot of it actually we're on the same path as Project 1000 coming into Manila. So we were running on the EDSTA and different things coming in. So
it sounds like you've got a soft spot for helping people.
Yes.
And a soft spot for long distance running, right? So if anyone has a habitat for humanity, 150K, you're there, right?
I know. I think you got to do crazy things to get attention to causes, right? Yeah.
True. And then more recently, the past few weeks, you have started your own run club.
Yes.
So I've been meaning to drop by, but I can't have it yet. But I will. There's no excuse there. Is that So where is it and what is it?
Yes, so Project 1000 Run Club, because Project 1000 is about finding your own thing to push yourself.
So there's nothing 1000 about it?
Nothing 1000 about it.
So gold star when you've gone 1,000 kilometers over the year?
Nothing 1000 about it. So everyone had been asking me to start a run club for some time, and I pushed back, and then it's like, actually, all right, I will. So it's 6 a.m. Mondays.
Okay.
For a purpose, because it's about showing up for yourself early on a Monday to start the week right. I always say it's the most relaxed and inclusive run club in Singapore. Red Dot Running, we meet at Red Dot Museum.
Okay, so that's just at the corner where we say there's turns.
Yes, correct.
Cherries.
Yes, and then we meet there, do the briefing, and then we go down to the promenade, sort of back towards the city, and we run around the promenade.
Okay.
So the idea being that you set your own pace, you set your own distance, and no one is left behind. Yeah. So we do intervals. Okay. They change up every week, and some people just come and walk. Yeah. Some people had started 4 weeks ago, couldn't run, and now they're slowly running, which is fantastic. Some are like super fast, and then we've got, like Arthur's daughter Hayley on the bike who's there. Someone's brought their dog. Yeah. So it's a real mix of levels and community, but it's all about showing up for yourself.
And you're not only there unless you're out of town.
Yes, correct. But it is on if I'm there or not, because it's not about me, it's about the community. It is always on 6 a.m. Mondays, no matter what, rain, sunshine. You don't register, you just show up.
That is exactly the same time that this comes out. Every Monday, 6 o'clock, the podcast comes out.
There you go.
Oh, this Monday. I'll listen to the podcast and great. So, how many people are going?
So this was, I think, week 5, and we had 30 show up today.
Okay.
I know. So it's sort of growing rapidly, which is great. I always say, don't come if you want free T-shirts and things, because it's not about that. Although we did have free Guzmán Gomez, and we did give away some Project 1000 merch this morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just about showing up for yourself. And I'm a spokesperson for Standard Chart Marathon for the physically disabled category this year that is happening. So we're going to get some of those athletes down to train on a Monday morning too. So really trying to embrace inclusivity.
And what's the end game for this? Are you... Is 100 people?
It's whatever. I've got people in the Philippines wanting to start it. So, just build it, see it. Build it, see who comes.
Thank you so much for coming. When I first started this podcast, so this is episode 80, right? I had a bingo card of my unicorn guests, right? One was Lian Seto, who was a triathlete from Hong Kong. I've had her. One was Van, the Thai rider. One was you, right? So I'm almost there. I'm so glad we got this, and I can so finally stamp my bingo card. And Natalie, how do people get a hold of you? RockStarArms.
Yeah, RockStarArms.
Why?
Yeah, I
why
cringe.
Is it because of the Spartan days?
No, you know what? It was a friend said to me in my Spartan days when my arms were a lot better and I was a lot younger. They said, "Oh, just call yourself RockStarArms." They used to nickname me that, so that was my handle. And then once you get verified, it's pretty much impossible to change your name. So I have tried. It's very embarrassing. I was thinking about this morning, going, I really need to.
You can, you're alone. But
it's like a 53-year-old woman calling herself RockStarArms. Pretty tragic. But anyway.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll see you this Monday.
Yes.